This is an urgent weather bulletin. Multiple weather emergencies are developing simultaneously across Australia as I speak. I'm interrupting regular programming because what's happening right now demands immediate attention from every Australian. We have breaking reports of catastrophic flooding in Queensland, life-threatening heat across Western Australia, and explosive storms building. Emergency services from multiple states are coordinating unprecedented response efforts for this extraordinary weather crisis. Fellow Australians, I need your complete attention because the decisions you make in the next hour could determine your safety. This isn't fear-mongering. This is the reality check Australia needs about weather patterns spiralling beyond normal parameters. Drop everything and comment your location immediately. Emergency coordination depends on knowing where everyone is. In times when nature's fury exceeds human comprehension, I find strength knowing God watches over our nation. Breaking news from Queensland. Cyclone Koji's remnants continue devastating already flood-ravaged communities. Emergency update from Mount Isa region. Torrential rainfall has transformed major roads into deadly river systems. Confirmed reports of vehicles completely submerged beneath floodwaters, including heavy-duty land cruisers. Brisbane and Gold Coast currently experiencing calm conditions at 31 degrees, but this is deceptive. Urgent alert. Severe thunderstorms are rapidly developing across northern and inland Queensland territories. Immediate warning for Townsville and Cairns. Explosive storm development threatens cricket ball-sized hail within hours. Breaking development. Coral Sea tropical low intensifying beyond all meteorological expectations for January. Weather specialists describe this offshore system using unprecedented terminology for midsummer conditions. Emergency bulletin from New South Wales. Inland trough system preparing atmospheric warfare across the state. Sydney alert. Current pleasant 28 degrees will transform into dangerous storm conditions within hours. Critical update. Heat, humidity, and atmospheric instability combine, creating perfect storm development conditions. Urgent warning Newcastle and Central Coast. Convective nightmare scenarios developing without advance notice. Canberra emergency bulletin. Nation's capital positioned directly in atmospheric crossfire zone. Breaking precedent. Thunderstorm intensity approaching levels not witnessed since historic hailstorm devastation. Victoria crisis alert. Melbourne's seemingly cool 24 degrees positions city in maximum danger zone. Emergency meteorology. Contrasting air masses colliding violently guarantees atmospheric explosions. Immediate threat. Geelong and Ballarat. Supercell storms approaching with freight train destructive energy. Breaking crisis from Western Australia. Infrastructure systematic failure beginning under extreme heat. Perth emergency. Current, 36 degrees. Merely preliminary to inland temperature records shattering. Critical alert, Kalgoorlie and Goldfields. Temperatures approaching absolute human survival thresholds. Emergency services bulletin. Mass heat-related casualty preparations underway across Western Australia. Urgent update. Heat dome strengthening rather than weakening, trapping millions in furnace conditions. South Australia's situation report. Adelaide's 25 degrees provides temporary eye of storm sanctuary. Mount Gambier bulletin. 20-degree temperatures feel Arctic compared to surrounding extreme conditions. Tasmania emergency status. Hobart's 19 degrees offers temporary refuge, but weather revolution spreads. Northern Territory crisis. Darwin's 33 degrees conceals monsoon time bomb approaching Australia Day. Alice Springs emergency. Furnace conditions exceeding human endurance capabilities. Breaking analysis. Multiple extreme weather events occurring simultaneously across continent. Emergency coordination crisis. Response capabilities overwhelmed by concurrent disasters. Critical timeline update. Australia Day weekend facing potential weather-related catastrophe. Emergency management bulletin. Festival organisers, airlines conducting crisis coordination meetings. Urgent community alert. Share your current conditions immediately for emergency situational awareness. Breaking meteorological data. Rainfall intensities approaching 25 millimeters per hour. Emergency infrastructure warning. Drainage systems face instant failure under atmospheric bomb conditions. Critical hail alert. Tennis ball-sized stones will devastate vehicles, property, agricultural crops. Emergency wind warning. velocities exceeding 1. Lightning emergency bulletin. Strike frequency increasing exponentially under unstable atmospheric conditions. Medical emergency alert. Heat-related casualties quadruple during prolonged extreme temperature periods. Emergency survival protocol activated. 72-hour critical period begins immediately. Eastern Australia alert. Emergency preparations must complete before storm arrival. Western Australia crisis. Survival without adequate cooling becomes primary concern. Vehicle safety emergency. Never leave anyone in parked cars during extreme heat conditions. Extended forecast emergency. Patterns suggest this represents only the beginning. Monsoon crisis development. Activity intensifying into Category 5 atmospheric river classification. Tropical system emergency. Multiple developments sequentially threatening unprecedented destruction. Agricultural crisis bulletin. Livelihoods disappearing beneath unprecedented flood volumes. Mining emergency shutdown. Operations ceasing as nature reclaims industrial landscapes. Tourism infrastructure emergency. Far North Queensland facing potential obliteration. Infrastructure crisis alert. Inadequacy exposed under extreme weather testing. Power generation emergency. Unprecedented cooling demand while heat reduces capacity. Urban drainage crisis. Systems becoming death traps under atmospheric bomb conditions. Transportation emergency. Networks facing systematic collapse from heat and storm damage. Aviation crisis. Airport operations deteriorating as runways melt under extreme temperatures. Economic emergency projection. Devastation approaching billions in damages and losses. Insurance industry crisis. Claims preparation could reshape extreme weather coverage permanently. Agricultural emergency. Crop losses accumulating hourly across flood and drought zones. Scientific terminology crisis. Biblical proportions enter meteorological vocabulary. Weather revolution emergency. Textbook climate understanding requires complete revision. Commuter emergency timeline. Travel peaks coinciding with peak storm development. School safety emergency. Pickup schedules aligning with severe weather's most dangerous periods. Critical emergency question. When does this atmospheric nightmare scenario end? Western Australia heat emergency. Dome showing zero weakening signs through extended forecast. Perth crisis bulletin. Minimum 7 days potentially lethal temperatures approaching. Inland emergency threshold. 50-degree temperatures incompatible with human survival. Emergency response crisis. Simultaneous extremes overwhelming response capabilities completely. Resource allocation emergency. Services facing impossible decisions across multiple disasters. Weekend emergency revision. Recreational activities require complete safety re-evaluation. Beach safety emergency. Conditions compromised by storm surf and extreme heat exposure. Outdoor adventure emergency. Activities risk becoming fatal if participants become weather-trapped. Mortality emergency statistics. Fatality rates spike during patterns matching current conditions. Medical emergency trifecta. Heat exhaustion, drowning, lightning creating vulnerability, perfect storms. Traffic emergency multiplication. Accidents increase when visibility vanishes, roads flood. Power emergency crisis. Failures leaving millions defenseless when cooling becomes survival necessity. Australian resilience, emergency activation. Community spirit historically conquers nature's worst. Survival emergency precedent. Cyclones, floods, droughts, fires prove collective strength. Community emergency response. Neighbour supporting neighbour overcomes individual vulnerability. Meteorological emergency limitation. Computers struggling with unprecedented atmospheric complexity. Technology emergency threshold. Chaos challenging sophisticated forecasting capabilities. Human experience emergency value. Knowledge becomes invaluable when computers reach limitations. Queensland flooding emergency. Rapid development requires minute-by-minute survival decisions. Western Australia heat emergency. Symptoms requiring immediate professional medical intervention. Eastern states emergency protocol. Weather warnings demand life-threatening response levels. Tropical emergency development. Potentially most destructive cyclone season in generations. System emergency overload. Simultaneous development could overwhelm warning and response. Australia Day emergency infamy. Weekend facing historical weather warfare declaration. Decision emergency deadline. Travel and preparation choices must occur before deterioration. Insurance emergency implications. Coverage approaches will require complete restructuring. Economic emergency continuity. Consequences echoing for years through pricing and investment. Survival emergency testing. Next 72 hours challenge every Australian's preparedness. Communication emergency redundancy. Networks failing under storm intensity. Supply emergency transition. Convenience items becoming absolute survival necessities. Knowledge emergency timing. Routes, contacts, safe rooms. Saving precious reaction time. Preparation emergency separation. Distinguishing survivors from casualties when warfare erupts. Subscription emergency updates. Dangerous weather changing faster than traditional forecasting. Community emergency reporting, location and condition sharing saves lives across Australia. Information emergency distribution. Weather knowledge shared provides universal protection. Tropical emergency examination. Tomorrow's analysis focuses on Australia Day survival. Historical emergency determination. These hours decide Australia's most destructive weather week. Combat emergency preparation. Vigilance, preparation, community become weapons against nature. Frontline emergency reporting, tracking every development from Meteorological Command Centre. Warfare emergency survival. Nature's total war requires prepared communities for intact survival. Emergency positioning protocol. Supplies close, family closer, updates constant during testing. Emergency bulletin conclusion. Stay strong, stay prepared, stay uniquely Australian. This emergency weather broadcast concludes. Immediate action required for survival preparedness.